Hello, and welcome to the Midwest Renewable Energy Association. My name is Leon Dulock, and I'm the site manager of the MREA. The MREA has been a nonprofit organization since 1990, since the inception of the Energy Fair. From the start, our mission has been to promote renewable energy, energy efficiency, and sustainable living through education and demonstration. And it continues today through our online courses, our hands-on courses here, and throughout the Midwest. We also help homes, businesses, nonprofits, and schools throughout the entire Midwest install megawatts of solar through our group ride programs and our other initiatives. Come along with me as I take you on a tour of our headquarters here in Custer, Wisconsin. Our facility, this building and the building north to it, are totally powered by renewable energy. Solar PV, solar hot water, solar hot air. We've got stored solar and wood-burning fuel systems. And there's also going to be, soon to be, a solar plus storage system installed on the roof behind me. So behind me, we have our solar carport. This very large carport has 72 Kyocera 270 watt modules on it and 2 inverters. We have a Solar Edge SE10K and a Fronius Simo 10K as well. So it has about 20K of AC power, and it's 19.44 DC electrons. So this solar carport is actually just simply dumping straight into the grid, but it's called a solar carport because it also has the ability to charge electric cars. And here we have our Tesla charger. It's about a 9.7 kW unit. And then if you look down the line here, there's 6 Clipper Creek chargers, and they're the level 2, just like the Tesla charger, but a little lower, about 7.2 kW. But these actually have software on them from Zeph Energy, so they basically talk to the power that's coming from the solar modules, and they're able to ramp up and ramp down their production or how much they're charging a car based on the production of the sun. So in theory, you are driving on sunshine when you are here at the MREA. So you can see our Solar Edge inverter, and this is the 10K. Solar Edge has its optimizers, as you can see on all the back of those modules there. The lower ones are easier to see. Both of these inverters are 3-phase systems, so they're 480 volt systems, and we have this as kind of an advanced installation for advanced solar installers to train on. We installed this entire array through actually a workshop, and we needed a 480 volt system because we actually have a DC fast charger over there, so the large ABB system. So ABB helped us get this with Alliance, Dairyland Power Cooperative. Clipper Creek helped us as well, and Zeph Energy. And this is a 3-phase system, so it's really high powered. It's up to 50 kW in power. We've got 2 different types of attachments to a vehicle, and it's around 150 amps. If you come here to charge, this is the only station that you need to pay for. And you go to Green Lots, there's an application that you can download on your phone. You register and kind of fill up like a payment card, or just have a payment on your phone, and you can use this system. The rest of the Clipper Creeks and the Tesla charger are actually free for anyone to come and use. They're especially useful for our employees and folks who come here to take our classes. So you can see our green building demo here. This is an old style framing type of structure. A little bit of metal has been used, and then This guy is an actual pizza oven. You can put any type of food you want in here, but it's an old style oven and it has no chimney or anything, so you build a little fire in there and you heat the entire thing up, and it holds its heat really well. And we actually cook food in here during the energy fair. So in the foreground, the tilted up array that we have there are 8 225 watt Kyocera multicrystalline modules. Those are providing power to the Magnasign standalone system that I'll describe in a moment. So on the steep part of the roof, flush mounted, is an array of 8-foot tall solar thermal modules, and those are providing heat to a propylene glycol solution for a drain back system that actually heats this building as well as the building to the south of us, our REI, Renew the Earth Institute. So here we have the power conversion of those 8 multicrystalline modules on the tilt-up array on the roof. It's a Magnum Energy inverter and charge controller, and this is a really smart inverter. Actually, it's able to take the 48 volts of battery storage that we have in here, which we have 4 of these Rolls batteries. The S260s indicate that they have about 260 amp hours over a 100-hour period, so there's plenty of amp hour storage in here for us to make this small lab space be pretty much off grid. This still ties into the grid power, so it can keep the batteries charged if there wasn't enough sun over a period of time, but it also has the ability to just totally be off grid and rely completely on solar. And you can see the PV output panel. We have a number of loads that we're taking from this room, mainly the lights, the projector screen, a few of the fans for the hot air panels. They're all pretty much off grid. And then, since this is a lead acid system, you have your various hazards that you have to be aware of when you're maintaining the batteries. And what you want first and foremost is some sort of face protection, eye protection. You want some sort of skin protection over your hands. And then you also need, if there's a spill, you need baking soda to neutralize any acid. Or this is a type of, it's called Rescue. It's a acid neutralizer, and it'll also take the acid and create a cake out of it, so you can easily scoop it up. And as far as battery maintenance goes, we have a really simple thing you can buy at any home improvement store. It's your basic sprayer that we've put pure distilled water in, rinsed it out multiple times, and then tested the water that comes out of here to be put into each one of these cells as they need water. And it makes it very easy and accurate, and it allows you to not have to overfill or spill anything. You can just direct your distilled water right into there. And we use a refractometer to test each one of the cells in the batteries inside of there. So you just simply test it for the battery's capacity, its state of charge. And then we also test the water through a water quality meter. So we have a pH meter, which isn't as necessary as this total dissolved solids meter. And you need to test every bottle of water before you put it into your batteries. The chemical reaction inside your batteries is relying on only having the specific components of lead and sulfate and pure H2O in there. So a little bit more about the Magnum Energy Inverter. Has a multiple power point tracking charge controller. This charge controller has a wide capability to bring in a lot of power from the solar and an even larger battery bank. And then this inverter has the ability to charge the batteries in conjunction with this multiple power point charge controller. So it's a relatively flexible type of system. So this is the drain back system for those 8-foot tall solar thermal modules up there. You can hear old bubbles going. So right now the pump is running because there's hot fluid, the sun's out, and we're putting heat into a floor hydronic system, a sand bed in here. Then we have conduit running between the two buildings, and there's actually 3 sand beds in the Renew the Earth Institute. There's one in the basement, one in our ed room, and then one in the office annex area. So those are providing all that heat for those sand beds. You can see the pump system. It's just a couple of pumps for overcoming the large head that is required to get the fluid all the way up to the panels and back down. And then a couple other pumps for the sand bed. One is for a heat exchanger, which we'll show you right over here. So right here we have one heat battery, and then behind it is another. There's close to 500 gallons of water in these tanks. They're insulated, and they are storing heat. Like right now it's September, so we're storing the sun's heat to be used when it gets a little colder next month. And then these batteries also are for this system, this Effecta wood gasification stove. So this is another form of stored solar that we burn some good wood in here, some hardwoods. It's called a gasification stove because it's actually reburning the smoke, the vapor that it creates, and it actually burns at a very high efficiency. The CO2 emissions out of the stovepipe are relatively low. It's only like 9% CO2 emissions from one single burn. And this has a water jacket on it. It's heating water, and that's going into the battery. So for this type of system, you kind of need a large volume of water to hold all the heat that this will produce in has a relatively quick burn period. So you're never going to be able to use all the heat that is created here. So you need to put it into water. The water then puts it into the floor at a slower rate. So here we have an example of a masonry heater, and we're burning stored solar in the form of wood. We use hardwood, and the hardwood burns really fast and hot in this mass of stone. So the emissions out of the smokestack are actually a lot less than any type of normal fireplace. And like I just said, there's a whole mass of stone here and below here. And what happens is when you get a hot fire going, the smoke goes in between fire brick, and then when you turn this little valve here, you can actually have the smoke go around this bench, so this entire bench heats up, and it radiates heat for up to 48 hours after a good long burn, or a day's worth of burning. Here are the parts to a hot air delivery system. Outside we have the hot air panel. It's capturing hot air from the sun, and it's just simply going into this ductwork, and it's delivered to the room through a fan. And the fan knows when to turn on because of a simple controller. Basically knows how hot it is in the panel and how hot it is in the room, and then it'll just basically put the heat right into the room. It's a really simple system, but it delivers a fair amount of heat for a small to medium space. Here we have one of our hot air panels. So this little hot air panel and this hot air panel as well both dump heat into our main lab building here. It's our north building. So here you see our nice, easy to work on training roof. Currently we have 10 Panasonic 325 watt HIT modules, and those 10 modules are providing power into this Ingeteam 5000 watt single phase inverter. And students are easily able to learn how to do a penetration, set up racking and railing on our roof, and then also learn all the parts of installing a solar system. So here we have our mobile training unit, and I just wanted to point this out so you can see all the components of a solar system except the modules all in one spot. So if you can pretend that there would be modules connected to this would be on the roof. This is called a solar deck. It's basically a combiner box, and you can get these with a rapid shutdown device as well for maintaining module level shutdown on the roof. And that feeds straight into your DC disconnect, which is connected to your inverter. The inverter takes the DC power and turns it into AC power. So that's where this conduit comes in, and you have this AC disconnect, so you're able to disconnect the power that's coming from the grid or your service panel basically. And inside the service panel you have your breaker that is back feeding the grid. So the inverter and your solar power is back feeding the grid here in one breaker spot, and then your service panel is tied into your meter, which is your grid. And this is all. It's really nice to be able to see this because it's your basic solar array all in one spot. We can even plug in some loads. Well, thank you for coming along with me on this tour of the Midwest Renewable Energy Association. If you would like to learn more about the MREA and solar, please visit our website at www.midwestrenew.org and shine on.